On today's show, Anthony Davis is the number one option for the Dallas Mavericks, and after what we saw in the first game, I think he's the type of number one option the Mavs can build a playoff team around. I'll tell you why in today's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
Dogs on 5.
Explain this inside.
All these changes, I still got my dog Dwight Powell.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like that.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs the number one sports podcast network out there, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. That's what we are. We're out there. We're here. And joining me, as always, the post-game prodigy from the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel with better Wi-Fi on my end this time. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Happy to be here with the good Wi-Fi. Happy basketball's back.
Oh,
So happy.
we got many comments about why you were not on the post-game.
Yeah, someone on my stream today was like, did they kick you off post-game shows? I was like, yeah. Got too political.
We pulled up on the I was at Dickey's. I was literally set up. We were ready to go. And the Wi-Fi was, for those that know, 6 megabytes per.
Oh, yeah. I jumped in the call and knew immediately. It was just not happening.
No.
And then Nick was like, it'll take me a while to get home. I was like, yeah, I'm about to call it.
So he went to bed, and Isaac and I did the post-game show. But today, he's back because Isaac is somewhere else.
You know what sucks? I'm going to have to, my sleep schedule is fantastic right now. Like, I'm going to sleep like 10.
You're about to ruin it.
It's about to be destroyed. Like, I'll be going to sleep very shortly after we finish this. And now I almost have to get it. Like, you know how before school started, you used to have to be like, all right, this week before school, you got to get into your sleep schedule. I have to mess mine up.
Hey, you want to go out? You want to go out after this?
Yeah, let's go. Let's hit up Lower Greenville.
Let's go. Today's episode, I want to talk about the first preseason game, some of the things that we saw, some of the concepts that we saw. Did you come away more impressed with Cooper Flagg? Is D'Angelo Russell going to be a real leader on this Mavericks team? Are the Mavs going to allow too many threes? What are the Mavs going to do with that third guard spot with Dennis Smith Jr., Exum, and Brandon Williams? And so we'll answer a bunch of questions like that. But let's start here slightly. What kind of option is Anthony Davis going to be as the number one option for the Dallas Mavericks? Because he is. He's going to be the number one option. He's the one that the Mavs are going to look to first. And it's going to be different than what the Mavs have seen in the past. Different than Dirk, obviously. Different than, Harrison Barnes was a number one option at one point on the Mavericks. Different than Luka, obviously. Different than Kyrie. Different than the games Luka was out and Porzingis was the number one option. Like, he's just going to be different than what Mavericks fans have seen. And to me, what I saw in that first game, and from what I've heard in training camp, what I've heard, during this preseason, Kid keeps calling it training camp, by the way. He says training camp ends on October 21st. So yeah, I guess it's just all training camp. The whole thing is a training camp. What I've heard during all of this training camp is that Anthony, they're going to use him as this hub. They're going to use him as the Sabonis type, like in the Kings offense, where he's the hub at the top of the key and he's making passes, he's making plays. They obviously want to run faster, so he's going to be a guy that's going to get out in transition. They're going to use everybody that gets a board and can get out in transition and run. They're going to use them out there, and Anthony Davis can do all those things. So to me, when I think about Anthony Davis as the number one option for the Mavericks, and from what I saw in that first game, I think he's one that gives the Mavericks a lot of options, right? And
Yeah.
You just have so many different options with Anthony Davis as that number one. He can finish in so many different ways, but he can set up guys in so many different ways too. We saw a couple of times here and there. The one that keeps coming back to my mind is the one where D'Angelo Russell set a screen for Anthony Davis, the inverted pick and roll where the guard set a screen for the big. And then all of a sudden Anthony Davis is getting free. He's getting, a double team, and D'Angelo Russell gets a wide open three out of it. And so I just saw a lot of different things that Anthony Davis can do. And I think that I was nervous about the offense. Again, it was just against the third string Thunder, but starting to see some of the things in front of me, I think the Mavs can build like a competent NBA offense around Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the Sabonis stuff is way overblown. I know that's what has been said. I don't know about verbatim, but it's what's been reported. The similarities have been mentioned, but I think that's overblown. I think it's going to be more of a committee thing. That's kind of how I came away from the first game with too, where, different guys will bring the ball up the floor. It's not necessarily going to be give the ball to AD and he's going to do everything and let's, run our entire offense through him. I really didn't get that impression at all, actually. Like, I thought everybody was kind of involved. I thought they got a lot of offense initiated through D-Live at the top of the key, which I think we'll actually get a lot of this upcoming season. So I think a lot of this stuff's been overblown, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I've seen there's been numbers dating back to when they were in LA that I hope I'm still here because my thing froze. But whenever I was in when D'Lo and AD were teammates in LA, that inverted pick and roll was one of the most common, guard screening for a big pick and rolls in the entire NBA, and it was very effective. So I think you'll see a lot of that. The Mavs will have to get creative, but yeah, this whole AD is a Sabonis thing, I think, is being overblown. I think what they're saying is, yeah, we're just going to use AD, like the ball will be in his hands and we'll run dribble handoffs and we'll, give him the ball at the elbow and let guys cut and move around. You saw so many cutters in that game a couple of nights ago. So I think that's more what's being said, rather than like, yeah, everything's going to happen through an AD dribble handoff.
I saw so many things, and I went through this yesterday. I went through like a bunch of moments from the first game where that stood out to me. And you mentioned Derek Lively running offense at the top of the key. And there was some moments where Lively was like, had the ball top of the key, and the defender has to come out and guard that guy because he can't just like sag off of him, because just because Lively's not going to take a three from there and take like a pull-up three doesn't mean that the defender can just like completely sag off and not defend him. If he's going to be a playmaker like that, he's got to get up there. If there's going to be a dribble handoff, the defender has got to be up there. Right. That all of a sudden changes the spacing of the floor. And so I think that's one of the things that they want to do, is have Anthony Davis at that spot. I was worried the same as you, because last year we only saw him in like 9-10 games, but there was a lot of Anthony Davis just like dribble, pull up the mid-range fadeaway jumper from Anthony Davis. And you're just like, man, if we have to see like 1,000 of these, next season, or like 500 of them, or however many, like, that's just not going to be a good offense. It's going to be plotting. It's just not going to look smooth. And I like the direction that they're going.
Yeah. I think a lot of what I've heard from the way they talked about their offense, leads me to believe more than anything, we're going to be fast. We're going to push the pace. All of our guys, even the bigs, including AD, can grab the ball, bring the ball up, and then we'll get in action immediately, versus like taking it literal. It's going to look exactly how it looks when the Kings did it with Sabonis, because I think that's how some people are interpreting it. But, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the course of the preseason, assuming these guys play. I don't know what their plans are there, because there's only so much you can take away from playing the third string Thunder unit. But I am interested in how they played. They mentioned they want to play faster, and they did play fast in that game. What they scored? They scored like 66 points in the first half, right?
Yeah, and you're like, okay, great.
Right, and it wasn't like they were bombing threes or anything. That was just a product of getting up the floor and getting into stuff quickly. So, that's what I expect to see. I hope it's not a slow plotting offense, because that would not be successful.
It's interesting thinking about running the offense through Anthony Davis, because the ball's not going to be in his hands sometimes, but they're still going to run things through him, where he's going to be the screener for D'Angelo Russell, like you said. He's going to be a screener for Cooper Flagg. That he's like a finisher in some ways. There was a couple plays where he was standing out in the corner. He got one of his threes because he was out standing there in the corner. Nobody went out and guarded him, and so he got a three there. And then there's another play where he swung it over to Clay, and he was in the corner. And so the Mavs just have guys that, like, honestly, they can play out of any spot, really, right, on the floor, which is kind of interesting, because they can all pass really well. They can all move with the ball a little bit here and there. Lively, maybe the least of all of them, but there's just so much movement you can do out of with all these guys.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on this earlier. If you're going to have a big lineup and maybe one or two guys on the floor are not respectable shooters, right? Utilizing him like a Sabonis hub. Well, Sabonis isn't a respectable shooter either, but the Kings run so much dribble handoffs through him that, like you said, you have to guard him. You can't not guard him, because then somebody's going to fly in for a dribble handoff, and now all of a sudden it's a 2-on-1 situation. Like, that's not
destroyed by a screen, and then all of a sudden
exactly. That's not that's how you sort of make space for yourself. So I interpret everything they say as that, and we'll see how it plays out when the season starts, obviously. But I didn't leave game one thinking like, oh man, they're really just gonna have the ball in AD's hands the entire game. Like, that's not how I left game one feeling.
Yeah, and they're gonna play faster. There's gonna be more movement off the ball. Like, those things, all those things had to happen in order for it to not be that plotting offense where it's dumped down. We're going to play through a big. Well, it's not just sit down in the post and back somebody down and then pass out of that. Like, it's not this slow, like 90s offense anymore, thankfully.
That would be hilarious though.
They just like posted up Anthony Davis all the time, and he was just like back to the basket.
Yeah.
Trying to key moves and trying to
Derek
just kick
Lively
out.
in the dunker spot 4 feet away.
And in the 90s, they would also have like Cooper Flagg would be at the elbow.
Yeah. I was just about to say.
He'd be spacing at the elbow.
Someone 3 feet in front of the 3-point line in the corner.
Clay would maybe be the one guy on the 3-point line, and then D'Angelo Russell would be like 3 feet in on the other corner, like on the baseline. You just be like, all right, here we go. Our margin of error for these post-ups is not big.
Best of luck, guys. I'm going up with the shot.
Just get the rebound, guys. Just get the rebound. Coming up, I came away more impressed with Cooper Flagg after what I saw in the first game. But did you? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Quo. It's one of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners. It's Quo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard us talk about for a lot of episodes before, but it's got a new name. Here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, if you're a small business, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7 because each one of those matters. You can't miss any one of them. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer. There's no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. You don't have to Joe Dumars it. You can just do that. And also, they have a bunch of different things that can help you, like a shared inbox, so that anybody on your team can jump in and answer. So if you've got somebody on call or on duty at that point, they can do it. So you actually can get some peace of mind and relax to know your business being taken care of. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly OpenPhone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO, quo.com/LockedOnNBA. If you got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. We appreciate you for checking out the show and listening with us. We go 5 days a week all throughout the offseason, and then now into the season. We got preseason basketball, and slightly we got Fan Jam coming up tomorrow on Friday.
That's right. I'll be in the building. If you have a Mavs veteran hat, you better be wearing it.
Oh,
that's all I'll say.
Bring mine.
I will.
Thank you. Okay, I think I have stuff for you that has been long overdue for me to give to you.
All right, great.
I think I have a Derek Lively Hype Squad shirt for you.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I think I was given one for you a long time ago, and I have not seen you since then. All right, we're talking about why Anthony Davis is going to be a good #1 option for the Mavericks. Cooper Flagg. What were your thoughts on Cooper Flagg in that first game? I came away impressed with his playmaking and the way that he just made the right play at each spot. Like, he never forced anything in that game when he definitely could have.
Yeah, I mean, that was about what I expect from him, honestly. So I'm not leaving like, oh, I didn't expect that. The most exciting thing, this is such a preseason thing. I'm actually making it a point to not watch any other team's preseason games this year, only because it just leads to the stupidest conclusions ever. And I'll just wait for the season to start. But like my thing where I was like, whoa, was the full court pressure he got from Case and Wallace and how comfortable he looked getting up the floor. That was the thing where I was like, okay, that was actually nice to see. It is such a stupid preseason thing. Because, I mean, the block, well, I know he could do that. The passing, well, I already knew he could do all that. The 3-point shot was nice because those weren't just like catch and shoot threes. Those were, pull-ups. And I will say I was watching someone's video on it. I forgot who it was. Otherwise, I would credit him. But the little hop step he did getting into that.
Was it B-ball breakdown?
Yeah, I think it might have been.
He loves the hop. He loves the hop into a jump shot. Yeah,
but he did go back and look at his college film and said when he does this, it goes in. Hey. So that'll be interesting to see. If there are guys like that who are like, I'm a rhythm guy. Like I have to. Yeah. I like stepping into the shot. I like getting my feet set that way. So that was interesting to see. The shot looks good. I don't know why. I just hear so many people be like, well, I don't know about his shot. It's like, I think his shot, he shot 40% from college.
The thing is, it doesn't look good, right? Like I'm sitting there
watching. Yeah, there's
him.
plenty of guys who don't have good looking shots.
Fair. Like I'm sitting there watching him warm up and you're just like, it just doesn't. It's not super smooth. Like I watched him warm up, and then I watched Klay Thompson warm up, and I'm like, this is just completely different experiences watching them shoot. But if it works for him, it works for him, right? We have, like you said, we have seen weird shots, and they work.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes in, it goes in. It's been going in for him for a bit. So I'm not saying he'll be like a 41% 3-point shooter immediately, but there's people who talk like he's going to be somebody you can't guard at the 3-point line early on. I doubt that is the case.
Is it somebody that you just leave? Like he's not Ahmed Thompson.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some people talk like that.
I'm not talking like.
Well, some people do, and you know how some people are.
I don't think we should listen to those people.
I never do.
So Cooper Flagg, yeah, we saw some great things. One of the things I brought this up yesterday. I'm curious your thoughts on it. On the Cooper Flagg block, Lively was pulled out to the 3-point line. He was guarding Jalen Williams, and AD was pulled out to the 3-point line. And it made me think about the geometry of the Mavs defense and how no matter who you pull out to the 3-point line, like you could pull both those bigs out, you still have a shot blocker and Cooper Flagg back there. And that is what I think is going to make the Mavs defense so unstoppable and so like hard to score against, is because you try to rotate them out of their spots and they're all like, they still have a guy back there that can still defend the rim.
Yeah. And I think too, I was noticing just how switch happy the Mavs were defensively because of that, 1 and 2. Both those guys, D-Live and AD, can guard out on the perimeter. So they're not too worried. And again, we have to preface this. It's not like the Thunder were rolling out too many like great perimeter creators.
Brooks Barnheiser. I mean,
Brooks Barnheiser did have a tough bucket, but apparently this guy was a dog in college, is what people were saying to me.
I keep in the comment sections, I keep saying, you better watch out for him. I'm like, all right, I'll watch out for him.
He did have a tough bucket over Coop that I thought was good defense. But no, I mean, that is kind of interesting. I think it plays into something. I don't know if you teased it on the show or if you said we were going to talk about it before the show, but the 3-point shots, the Mavs did give up a healthy dosage of 3-point shots. 51. I do wonder how much of that was by design of like, all right, Jay Will, you can, if you beat us shooting, 8 top of the key threes, then so be it. Some of these other dudes out here that, young blood, I don't know how many threes he got up. He's got an insanely fast shot though. That was my main takeaway.
That's not like you calling him Chief or Buddy. That was the
that's his name. That's just a literal last name. I'm not just throwing out a young blood nickname. That's his literal name. But sick name, by the way. But how much of it is like, you can shoot threes. We're okay with that. Like we just want to limit shots at the rim, versus how much of it is like, this will be a weakness for us. Like, cause we're helping off so much and we are trying to limit shot attempts to the rim that you can beat us with threes. And I noticed the Thunder threw a lot of skip passes too. Now that's the Thunder. This is kind of what they do, but that could be something that teams were looking for. Like, hey, if they're going to help this much or, sag off this guy in the corner, whatever the case may be, that skip pass will be there. So it'll be interesting when we go up against teams that are better 3-point shooters. I'm interested to see, again, we might not see it at all this preseason. I don't know what the team's plan is, but I'm interested to see if they play the Hornets on Saturday. They'll be terrible this year, more than likely. But if the Hornets play most of their NBA guys and the Mavs play most of their NBA guys, that'll be a decent little litmus test just to see what it looks like against, actual players.
Man, that's where we are with the Hornets.
Yeah, they'll be horrible. And I don't feel bad because for like 3 years in a row, I was like, guys, this Hornets team's pretty good. Like if they are the 6 seed and win surprise, no, they're going to be god awful. And this will be the year that they're good.
Top 10 picks.
I know. I mean, this might be the year they're good, but I'm not going to be the one to say it this time.
They have future Olympian Con Knipple on the team.
They don't have a. That's crazy. I know. That's what Bill Simmons said, that Con Knipple might be on the next Olympic team.
Next Team USA. They only allow 12, Bill.
I know. He said that, and I was like, huh? But man, I can't believe we're actually previewing a preseason game. But man, that center rotation is shocking.
Yeah, that's tough.
They like Cockburner a lot, though. Apparently.
They like what?
Cockburner.
Oh, okay.
Good luck, Followell.
That one in the Celtics, like, is the center rotation is just
two worst in the league right now.
You know what's worse than that, though? I was listening to Locked On Jazz today, and our fearless leader, David Locke, at one point, unironically said, probably our second best player on the team is Jusuf Nurkic. I was like, I don't want to debate if that's true or not. He thinks it's true. He knows the team better than me, and that's brutal. That is tough.
Oh wow, I'm looking at their team right now.
Lowry, Markkanen, And then who else?
I'll you know what? I'll go out on. I mean, he hates Walker Kessler, huh?
I don't know. I guess he's just.
I'll go out on a ledge and say Ace Bailey will be better year one than Yusuf Nurkic.
I hope so for his sake and for all Jazz fans' sake.
I'll go there.
Do you think the Mavs are going to let too many threes? Because I came away from that game going, man, if the teams are going to have to take a bunch of threes to the Mavs because they're not going to go to the rim, then they're going to be forced to like figure out, all right, what is my other option here? And that can get them in some weird math problem games.
It's very reminiscent of a couple years ago when they made the finals. I think it's a little bit different where it's like this year feels more like, yeah, go to the rim, see what happens. Whereas a couple years ago was more, we know we can't, like, we might not be able to guard you out here, but we're going to funnel you into our rim protectors. And that led to, some driving kicks and some three-point opportunities. But the Mavs were very strategic and played on a string defensively. And it was like, yeah, we're okay. Hey, I remember the Thunder series. Lou Dort had good three-point percentage numbers, but what did the Mavs know? They knew close out hard and force him to dribble or take a sidestep or whatever the case may be, and his numbers dip dramatically. And he shot horribly in that series. So it might be something like that where they're like, hey, if you're guarding this player tonight, be aggressive in your help off. You're going to help off of this guy, and we'll rotate from there. But we're okay with this guy shooting a three. We're not okay with this guy shooting a three. So that's what I'm saying. It'll be interesting to see in the preseason, assuming, some of these guys keep playing, what it looks like against better teams.
God, I hope they just play. There's only three guys. Just play all of them, please. Can we just?
Yeah, I go back and forth on the preseason stuff where it's like, I do think it's important to get some continuity, especially, this is I know what they brought back 13 guys. That's the stat that keeps going around. How many games did these guys actually play together last year? Like next to none.
Like 5 together.
Yeah, like next to 0. You're gonna have 2 new guys in the starting 5 that weren't on the team at all last year. So like, I like getting these reps early. I think it's important. You don't have to overdo it or overkill it or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's how you and JJ Redick are different.
I know. I don't know what they've got going on. I understand, like, do I want to get clipped or no? That's
coming up.
Well, I was gonna say we got the Summer World Tour. We're not practicing. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going on hot ones.
That'll be fun.
It'll be fun. I'm interested to see what kind of questions he asks because Luka would never. You just never answer any questions that anybody asked him.
Aren't those usually pretty vanilla though?
No. The hot ones guy does a pretty good job asking good questions.
But like good, this is going to make you look good questions.
Yeah, he's putting them in position. He's putting them in position to look.
It's more like a Nardwuar situation than it is like a hostile interview.
I know something that you don't think that I know about you.
Yeah.
It's not hostile. I mean, he's not coming after. Like,
but that should be how it is. You eat a hot wing, and now I'm asking you like a hard hitting question.
So in your childhood,
yeah, like so you fouled out of game 3. Like that should be how it works.
So how far were you buying that house when you got that trade? That trade happened to you. Coming up, D'Angelo Russell. What kind of leader is he going to be for the Mavericks? Saw some of this in the game. I want to ask slightly about it. I think more than people think. I'll talk about that more. Come on. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by our old friends Prize Picks. Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is go to Prize Picks and you can go see what is available for you. They have great stuff all the time where you can just go check to see more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards, Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown, more or less. And you pick one or the other. You can do points for an NBA player. So if you're like, oh, Cooper Flagg, and you see it, let's say it's 10.5, more than 10.5, less than 10.5. You can pick that on there, and then you put a couple of them together, and you can win more and more money. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA, all one word, all caps. LOCKEDONNBA for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. What a new slogan, PrizePicks.
Shut it down! Oh, no! Let's go home!
All right, Sightly. I don't know what I was teasing before this segment. I don't know what I was trying to say, but I want to talk about D'Angelo Russell because one of the things that I saw in D'Angelo Russell and that I've heard all through this whole training camp process is how much of a leader he's been. Cooper Flagg was raving about him. earlier. Klay Thompson was raving about him. Anthony Davis was raving about him. And in our interview with him on Media Day, when we talked to him, he seemed like he was very thoughtful, and he came off as like, I'm a vet now, and I'm ready to be here and ready to contribute. I'm ready to play my role, ready to prove myself. And I don't know. I came away from that game also watching some of his passing, watching the way he was like directing traffic in some ways. And I think D'Angelo Russell is going to be a leader on this team in a way that not a lot of people expected.
Yeah, I mean, D'Lo's one of those weird guys where it's just like, I can't believe he's been in the league as long as he
10
has. Like
years.
this, yeah, the concept of D'Lo's one of those guys who just kind of stays. Like I see a picture of Kevin Love, I'm like, yeah, man, he's been in the league forever. Like it literally feels like as long as I've been alive. And then D'Lo's like, I mean, how long has Caleb been in the league at this point? Like 14, 15 years?
Well, see, when was Kevin Love at UCLA?
No idea. I'm horrible at that stuff.
Oh my God, 17 years. He was in the league in 2008.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. So they're not that close, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I was actually impressed with D'Lo's game. How many shots did he even end up taking? And all of them are wide open threes. So if that's the shot selection, the shot diet we get from him, I think he had 6 assists in the first half. Just making the right play every time. Then yeah, that'll be great. Now, we'll see how long it's consistent, and there will probably be games that are frustrating. But yeah, I've not the biggest D'Lo guy throughout his career, but never thought he was a horrible player. Always thought there was a little scapegoat going on, and for $6 million especially,
yeah,
for what the Mavs need. Yeah, I think he'll be good. I always see the counter to this, be like, yeah, but if he's your playoff, it's like, well, he's not supposed to be. And if he is, then other bad things have happened. The Mavs didn't get him to be a starting point guard for them in the playoffs. That's not why they went out and got him. So, I liked his game 1. And it is interesting. It's just crazy to me. He's been in the league long enough to be, the league, like one of these vets
that
everyone looks up to. I know.
He could get the 5-year Supermax if he was able to.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, I think we've thought about D'Angelo Russell's role, and you're like, all right, he's just going to be this guy that comes in, gets some buckets, and does that. Like, I don't know. I think he's going to be like a floor general for the Mavericks. I think he's going to be a guy that other people lean on. And now all of a sudden, like if D'Angelo Russell's one of your vets with Klay Thompson, with Kyrie Irving, with Anthony Davis, like with Dwight Powell,
all these changes, and I still got my dog Dwight Powell. I still got
who is actually pretty good. Like.
Dwight Powell played well.
He played really well. Like, he just looked good physically.
His athleticism looked like it was back.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, all right.
Speaking of our guy, Dennis, what's going on with the Dennis Exum, Brandon Williams spot in your mind? Dennis Jr. half practiced the other day. I think it was Monday. Dante Exum is just out. Or no, Tuesday. Dante Exum is just out, and Jason Kidd didn't give a reason. So I'm not going to try and speculate on what it is. It could be injury, could be something personal. Who knows? But he was at media days, like been around the team, all that. I just don't know what to make of it, because one of those guys is not making the team by the end of it.
Yeah,
and we all think or everybody thought going into media day that it was going to be Dennis. Hope that it wasn't. Hope that he would get a fair shake. But now with Exum missing as much time as he has, Brandon Williams with the hamstring, he has practiced since he's been out with the hamstring, but didn't play in the game. Yeah, where are you with that right now?
So yeah, I mean the cap ramifications. I think Dennis is the easiest one because he's not on any type of contract really, right?
True,
but.
But Brandon Williams is non-guaranteed all the way.
Yeah, Brandon Williams non-guaranteed. I mean, look, I don't know. We haven't heard any report. I hope nothing like serious is going on with Exum. I don't know if there's a personal thing. I don't know what. So I don't want to speculate too much. But if this is some weird injury thing, and it's like, oh, well, Exum might not. I mean, I wouldn't be if Dennis has a great camp. Man, I don't know. I love Exum. I think Exum's a great player, and I think he's like really good. And if his career was not this injury riddled, is a guy who's probably making a lot of money in the NBA right now. Like, because that's the type of impact I think he can bring to a team. But I don't know how you can go into a season if he's already entering the season dealing with an injury and maybe isn't ready for the start of the season, whatever the case. That's just a difficult pill to swallow. Like we've done this run around 2 straight years, and it sucks, but it's an unfortunate part of the game and an unfortunate part of building a team. And some guys just, are more reliable than others. I'd be surprised if that happens. They literally got rid of Omax to bring back Dante Exum. Like it wasn't like they just brought in Exum. It was like we like him enough that we are willing to give up on this first round pick from a couple years ago and waive and stretch him, not even trade him for something like waive and stretch him and have that on our salary sheet still. So I don't know. I just think Dennis is probably the odd man out. It's the easiest thing. But those guys need to be playing. I would say if we're, because when are their games? Do they still have games going into next week? If we enter that second to last preseason game, or maybe even last one, and all of these guys are still not playing, then that's when I'm like, all right, this is getting a little weird.
I think it's weird now, but it's only weird
the
because
Exum stuff's weird. They're like, everyone's healthy, well, except Exum, of course. And it's like, well, what's going on there?
And Jason Kidd has literally just said, quote, Exum is just out.
Yeah, I love that. Like, well, he's just Exum.
I'm not a doctor, so I don't know.
So wait, I still don't even know what happened to Dennis.
I don't know. He was just out, and then he half practiced on Tuesday. They don't have injury reports in preseason, so it's not like an official sheet where we see like hamstring or like I think you're literally trying to get inside sourcing, or you're trying to get Jason Kidd to tell you what the thing is. Those are our only options right now for injuries.
It is just we were joking last time I was on here.
Guess what, guys? You can bet on these games.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, NBA.
That shouldn't be allowed. If you're betting on a preseason game, brother, please.
Yeah,
call whatever hotline there is in your state. I'm being dead serious.
With FanDuel, go check out the NFL and regular season.
Yeah,
action
check
right
out
now.
the FanDuel, WNBA. The Aces are up 3-0. So there you go.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, spoiler alert. Go bet on them to close it out a few nights from now.
Yeah, that Mercury team's going down. They're gonna be out of gas. They won't. I don't know if they have one more in them.
They don't got one more in them.
And I saw Satu Tabli, our old friend, went down with an injury, and so
she did.
You hope that's not going to keep her out of the next game. But
it didn't look good.
If it does, then her injury. She has the AD Luka boo boos. Like she has some of those.
No, this was bad.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to spoil it. I didn't know you were going spoiler free.
No, I was messing.
Oh.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on the show. Go check out Slightly Biased' great YouTube channel. All kinds of good stuff happening over there, streams and all that. We will have another show for you tomorrow, breaking down the Mavericks, seeing what else they got going on. And then we got Fan Jam on Friday. So come back and see us on that game. Guys, check the QR code and links in the description for different ways to follow the show. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.
We're back, baby.